This is the first water I've seen in a couple months, and it's not a whole lot, but things are looking a little bit wetter. Nice to see some Spanish moss. So I've been thinking what it would be like to have a mindfulness hiking vlog. I'm gonna have to check and see if anybody's actually doing that. There's too many generic hiking vlogs and gear, and there's, not to put anybody down, but there's just lots of overlap and repetition, and finding my own place, my own niche might be what I think is really important anyway. And that's a mindfulness oriented hiking vlog, whether or not I'm a thru hiker or not. Each one could be a session of sorts, a meditation. Here comes some people, so I'm going to turn this off. Just past a group of people. I don't feel comfortable having a camera on people because I don't know how comfortable they would feel, and I'm going to assume that they might feel uncomfortable. Still haven't found my selfie stick, my tripod selfie stick. And I'm about ready to order another one, although handheld like this is working okay. Let's talk about the earth as a living being. I would say that not thinking of the earth as a living being is common, especially among industrial people, industrialized countries, capitalism. It's hard to think of the earth as a living being and employing indiscriminate harvesting of forests, mining, oil extraction, all types, fishing, especially in the sense of the word commercial fishing in large quantities on a large scale, applications of large quantities of chemicals for farming, all these types of money-making endeavors where there's obvious depletion of resources when engaging in these practices. Regardless, I think you get my point. It's a whole lot easier if we think of Earth as a rock full of resources that are there for our use. And let's face it, if there's gold in rocks, why don't we just crack up the rocks and get the gold out? If there's precious stones, if there's copper, lithium, titanium, whatever, uranium, things that can be mined and turned into marketable goods and money. Yeah, it's easier when we think of the earth as a depository of resources. It's especially easy when we think of them as limitless resources. I think we're finding out that it's not limitless. So instead of thinking of the Earth as a space rock that has resources for us to use at our beck and call, starting to think of the Earth as trees that do this miraculous thing called photosynthesis. And the trees are an important part of our being in that they produce oxygen that we need, and they help take up the carbon dioxide that we breathe, and they make use of it. And indirectly, or directly, the trees contribute to a huge system that helps keep the earth at a temperature that is desirable for both us two-legged humans, as well as the trees, and as well as, should I dare say, everything that's alive on the earth right now really needs the temperature that they have in a pretty tight band, even though we think that we can live in extreme environments. It's still a pretty narrow band, whether you're in the desert or whether you're in Iceland, or whether you're living with Eskimos, or you're taking a trip to the North or South Pole and living in extremes where lots of energy is required to help maintain your temperature. So yeah, it's an introduction to thinking that the earth is alive, as I believe it is, and I'll talk more about that. What is this? Is this a dead tree? Looks dead. Roots are separated. There's another little piece with some, well, it's some life. Looks like not much, but there's life. And in fact, this dead tree is a Motel 6 or a Super 8 or a Hilton for, I see fungus on the outside. I see holes leading into the tree where we can't see. And I can tell you that there is a lot of life in there. Lots and lots of life. So one thing I've learned that if you have a dead tree, and let's say it was a tree that might even be at risk of falling on your house, instead of removing the whole tree, what about removing the top of it to help eliminate danger to the house, but leave a trunk, whether it's 20 or 30 feet tall and not likely to fall over because now it has no branches to catch. But anyway, that newly dead tree standing there over the next decade or more would provide wonderful homes to all kinds of creatures, attract some nice woodpeckers, attract all kinds of birds. Maybe a hole would be created where four-legged mammals could climb up and live or spend time in. Birds could lay eggs in nests. New life, new DNA contained in those seed pods. And this is another Hilton for much life. Again, a dead tree, all those holes. Now there is some carving that was man-made, but those holes are not man-made. Those helicopters flying above were very near fourth story. They are man-made. Fairly advanced decay of a tree stump. If we had a magnifying glass, we could dig into it and find life. And when we thought there was no more, we could get a microscope and start finding more. And then we see all this beautiful artwork by this piece of wood. So one might say that all around us is death. All around us is dying leaves that have fallen and dead trees that are rotting. If this was our yard, what would we do? What's the normal thing to do? What are we taught to do? What did our ancestors do? Or I should say, what have our immediate ancestors of the last couple generations? Because I guarantee you that if you go back past 4 generations, you're probably not going to find people thinking like we're thinking today. Here is a tall tree with no bark. Some branches up there. This is a tower. I'll say it is 100 feet tall. I'll just take a wild ass guess. So, a bug hotel high rise. Just had a mosquito on the back of my hand that I blew away. I've walked about 2 3/10 of a mile. I'm not going very fast, but I'm not going very slow either. I've been crisscrossed by about 5 different runners today, and I'm always amazed when I see someone running through here. My body is not made for running. Never really was, and certainly isn't now. I'm sure if I made it my life's work to run a marathon, I could do it. But I'm not going to do that because I think it would be too painful and it's not what I want. Let's listen to this. That wasn't a bell, and I'll tell you what it was, but it wasn't a bell, but it was an opportunity to stop and listen and think of it as a bell of mindfulness. What it was an electronic trumpet over at Fort Story. And let's see, what time is it? Is it 5 o'clock? Do they do that at 5 o'clock? Yes, 5 o'clock. So I guess they do that at every 5 p.m. And Lord knows I don't know. My military knowledge is limited there. It's not taps. I don't think it's reveille. But anyway, yeah, I'll look that up. So I'm alive. The trees are alive. The birds, the animals, the things that we think of as alive are definitely alive. It's not far to extend that. It takes a little bit of effort, a little bit of work, but it's not far to think of the earth as alive. Certainly, our land ancestors thought that. Here comes somebody running. This has been a sample test video. I'm working on something. Something will evolve from this. And it'll change. I can refine all sorts of little things. But I'm doing this to do it, go through the motions, see what I have, make notes in my head. And each little video that's a test will lead to something more of a finished product. My silver car. Do want to go visit one place though.